Hello everyone, welcome to Ephemera Files by Tommy. This is a kind of video that I don't do very often. I don't usually do haul videos. The only other time that I did was because I was so enthusiastic about the things that I found at this little antique shop that was just out of the way here in my own hometown, kind of in my hometown. It's actually the next town over, but it's so close and that town's so small that I count it as ours. Anyway, this is another one of those videos. This is a haul video, but it is all from flea markets that I visited when we went to Branson, Missouri for a very brief spring break visit. All of the chaos kind of going on right now cut our visit short. However, I did get to go to, I think it was at least 9 or 10, it may have even been 11 different flea markets and vintage shops while we were there in Branson. Thankfully, I didn't have to do the go-kart riding. My husband and son did that. And I just wanted to share with you some of the neat things that I found and let you know some of the things that I'll be doing with them as well. First off, I found books. Books are one of the main things I look for at a flea market, just because you can find really old ones, but they don't necessarily have to be really old. You can find them that have these beautiful, let's see, what's the word? Illustrations. This one just happens to be, oh my goodness, 1904. Wow, that's older than I thought. I think, if I'm saying that right. Let's see, 1000, yeah, 1904. And it's called Songs of the Child World by Riley and Gaynor, and it's probably going to be James Whitcomb Riley because he wrote a lot for children. And I have a few of his books, and I even have one that's here. And there are pictures in this book. There are illustrations. That would be a picture. The other would be an illustration. And I just love the edges. Look how they're aged. They're beautiful, beautiful. And because it's 1904, I believe that I can scan some of these to use. The cover's not in great shape, but I'm not real worried about that part of it. Sometimes, oh, there's my scissors I couldn't find. Sometimes I look for books because of the cover. This is a prime example. It says Mildred. It was written by Holmes. Look at that. The cover is still in really, really good shape. And I love this photo here. It's got debossing on the front, or embossing. Which one's which? Embossing is pressing down. Debossing is up. So this is embossing. I think I said that right. And it has an inscription of whom it belonged to. And this was written in 1877. Now, I do have a plan for this book because I love the cover so much that that's what I bought it for. I will use the inside too, but I think that that would be a lovely, lovely journal cover, just as is. Wouldn't have to do much to there's a little wear here and a little wear here. You wouldn't have to do much to that cover, though, to retain its beauty. Another thing I look for are books that I know my friends will like. There's a lady on YouTube that I really, really like, and she collects gingerbread men. She is crazy about gingerbread men. Obviously, this book belonged to a young person. It's from 1975, and it's Richard Scarry, which I always thought that was such a strange last name for a guy who wrote such cute children's books. He's not scary at all. Not scary at all. So that will be going in the mail headed her way. Music books are something I look for a lot. And this one has this fly sheet. I love this paper. And I don't even know. But this book, brand new, was 35 cents. And it was published in 1905 as well. And I just love the way those pages look too. Sometimes when you're looking through a book, you'll find a little something tucked in extra. And I haven't flipped through these yet. to find anything. Sometimes the sellers are really, really, let's see, what is the word? They notice things, and so they'll make sure and pull that out, because sometimes it might be worth something too. But they don't always. This is a Webster's Secondary School Dictionary. Somebody has written notes. It was published in 1913. However, it was still in use a lot later. Do you know how I know? Want to know how I know? Because some young person drew jets. It's a plane race. So it was still in use for many, many, many years. Oh, look. It even has some, oh, see, you don't know what's going to be included, because I'm pretty sure these were not originally in there. It says, this photograph shows the pulmotor restoring to life a man who apparently ceased to breathe. Wow, that must be the predecessor to today's respiratory devices. Those are Zeppelin and a Space airship off for a race. A submarine undergoing a test. I don't see a date on any of these pictures. And naval guns, showing the arrangement of guns on a modern battleship. How interesting. And see, I may have missed something else because I just didn't flip through quite thoroughly. But that's what I mean, is sometimes you'll find things tucked in here. I have found handwritten recipes. I have found newspaper clippings. I think that was it. I think that's all the bonus in that book. We'll set those to the side. This is Wood's Natural History. I loved that on the inside. That is so pretty. And it was to Loris D. Curtis from Father. And this was published in, it's not on that page, 1911. And it's an illustrated natural history. So there are a lot of drawings in here. And this paper has this lovely, just old feel and texture to it, and smell, obviously. And that's another one where you could use the cover as a different portion of the book. This is a book that I have never read. I've heard lots and lots about. And when I saw it there, I flipped it open and I was thinking, I can't even understand half of what's being said in there. So, since it wasn't very much money, there's a little bit of tape fixing it, and that's really, really old fix. It wasn't very much money. I had never read the book, and they don't have it at my local library for me to check it out. I went ahead and got it because I liked the illustrations. Copyright 1920. And it has a little bit of an introduction about how the book was written. Some of the pages are torn, but like I said, it's got some really cute illustrations in it. I may not think they're so cute after reading the story, because right there's a rabbit tying a bear to a tree. But there they're just talking. I think that's cute. And I can use those illustrations. Like I said, I've heard about the book, so I know it's not really nice a lot of the time. That's a lovely pic. I like that picture. She's so beautiful. All right. So there is that. We'll see how much I like it afterwards. Here is a book. Oh, I thought that I had a James Whitcomb Riley book. I have a Robert Louis Stevenson book, Child's Garden of Verse. I have about 3 different versions of this book. This was given to a gift to Lois from Aunt E, Christmas 1925. Look at the aging on that. Can you see how it's yellowed and splotchy? And look at these illustrations. Oh my goodness. When I saw that it was this particular book, I grabbed it because I've not seen one that I didn't like. Copyright 1902. And here, look at all these drawings. And some young person has really enjoyed this book as well, because there are some markings from pencils. And this is one, I mean, it's already falling apart, so I really don't have a problem with taking it the rest of the way apart. But I like that one too. I think the cover is gorgeous as well. And then this one actually was a freebie that I got just before the trip, but I'm including it in what I have. It's the New Pictorial Encyclopedia of the World, and it's from Ada Arc. And it's 1954, so it's not out of copyright, but just look at this. It's the illustrations. And it was free, which is the best thing. And I could just see making all kinds of things using these photos. And I like the collages on the fly leaves. And I like the cover. So, those are the books that I found. I also found 2 block stamps. I didn't have either of these. I really like this dress form and this pumpkin patch. 2 decks of cards, but not to play with. Whoops, I'm just going to throw them apparently. This one is Midwest Wildflowers, and they were both still in the plastic, so they had not even been opened yet. So I know that the deck is complete. But I loved the idea of having these cards with the photos of the flowers on them. Butterfly weed and water lily, milkweed, daisy fleabane, wood lilies, all of those. And those will be excellent for putting into journals. And then the joker is garlic mustard. That's so funny. At least to me. And then this one was the Kings and Queens of England. And I think that these are information cards. I'm not sure that they are playing cards. They might be. No, they are information cards. And on the back they have information about whichever monarch. It's photoed on the front. There's Queen Elizabeth when she was young. That's in 1952. Gorgeous. Look at these. Aren't those beautiful? So those will be useful as well. And I got each of those decks of cards for $1. This, I bought a carved wooden Chinese checker game, and it wasn't really old. It's probably from the 70s. But this paper was in there, and I just really liked the way it felt. It's got this bumpy texture on it, and it's got this discoloration. I'll use that for something else. So that was bonus. Next, I got these little pamphlet type books. One is a book of Christmas carols, and I can't read that. I think it says Hammy, but I'm not sure. And I think it says 1951. And I'm going to probably use these in my... Oh, this is Billy Graham wrote that letter. This is probably going to go in my December Remember journals that I will have available at the beginning of fall. But it's really, really pretty. With all the red and the green and the Christmas songs. Let's see. Oh, it says 1950 right there on the back. I also got this White Crest cookbook. And the White Crest is not toothpaste. It is flour, baking flour. And I didn't find a year on this one either. It just looks really old, and I have a plan for it because I'm getting ready to make a journal. I'm gathering things to make a journal about Grandma's Kitchen. It may be, I have a book that's called Aunt Somebody's Kitchen, and I may call it that instead if I end up using that book cover. But I thought that was so pretty. And if I look this up, I can probably find out what year they put those out. This one is from the Oatman Condensed Milk Company. And the same thing, it's got recipes and such. No, not recipes. It's got, yes, recipes, but also other things that you can turn in. You could save your labels and you could send them in to get a meat grinder, a knife, an iron. The official Boy Scout knife you could get for 500 labels. I remember saving labels for some things like that. This is effective December 15th, 1934, so I'm going to say it's probably 1934. And then this one I was misled. Not misled, I just didn't read everything. It says the 1904 12th Annual Catalog. And I got all excited, and I'm looking through it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, look at all this stuff. Thinking it's 1904, and I can make digitals out of the pages. No, this is a reprint from 1962. So I won't be doing that, although I may use the pages in collage. I may sell a few. I may give a few away. We'll just see what happens. I still like the book, even if I did mislead myself. I have to show you this. It's not old or vintage, but it's really cool. It's cool yarn, and I got it for $1. Got little sequins on it. I like it. Here is one of the things that I look for most when I am going treasure hunting. I love textiles. I love doilies and hankies and tablecloths and pot holders and all of those things. And so this is where I look. These and books. I'll look at all the other stuff too. I look at these and books the most. These pieces were all jumbled up in a bag like that. And I thought that they were bits and pieces or in really bad shape. The bag was $1.50, and so I got the bag because I tend to cut things up anyway. And this is what I found in the bag. It's not very flat because it was all crumpled up in the bag. But look at these yellow roses in this star pattern. Isn't that beautiful? I love the yellow roses. This was also in the bag, this little pot holder. I remember my mom and my grandma having these. Or similar. My mom crocheted, and she would make things like this. This was also in the bag. This is the one that I thought was in pieces. All these little roses with their leaves. I could totally see cutting the roses apart, still having this as a center, and using the roses as trim for edges or on a cover. Beautiful. And then this was the last one in there. Plain simple little old doily. Aged on the edges, but it's gorgeous. Look at these tiny little stitches that it is made of. Goodness, Tommy. Next, I found a bag that had these 3 laces in it. There's about a yard of each one. Ooh, what is it? That's all one. It's sewn together on this end. I didn't notice that. And I paid $1 for the bag. And that one is sewn as well. Interesting. I can still see where the end is, so I know where to cut without ruining it. This one is also one piece. And I do not see a sewn edge, so maybe it went around the edge of something like so. Like there was a larger piece in the middle and it got cut off, maybe? Who knows? The sun is going to play tricks on my camera. It's going to go in and out. So I'm going to get some funky shadows. I think this is something that they used to put over the back of a chair, or it was part of a set that went over the armrests, because I know I have seen these in grandparents and great-grandparents' houses, and I have a few, at least one set in here. But that hand embroidery is really beautiful. Look at that. And then that is hand crocheted around the edge. That's not trim, that's sewn on. And then this one. You don't see a lot of black in embroidery, so I tend to grab those when I see them. Lovely little crochet ruffle edge on the side. This was 15 cents. I wouldn't have bought it except for it was on clearance, because I think these are the really cheap ones. Cheap ones like you could get sometimes, I don't know, for probably 15 cents brand new. Here's a little embroidered hanky. I love the hankies, and look at that lovely little lace that's created on the edge. This, I think, is a tea towel with the little embroidery here. That's really pretty. And then all of this beautiful material available for me to use. Another little piece. I think that these are just like a miniature dress scarf or something. Dresser scarf, not dress scarf. I think it needs blocked. This is a tablecloth and set of napkins. This is embroidered on the four corners of the tablecloth, and it's not big. I mean, that's a quarter of the table, so it's not meant for a big table. And this color that it is embroidered on is unusual. I don't see that very often. This is a piece of embroidery that wasn't finished after it was embroidered. It's cross stitch, and it was never anything made out of it, and still got the selvage edge here. I think that's really pretty. I'll have to figure out how to use that, though. That'll have to take some thinking. Here's another tea towel. I think it's a tea towel. No, it's a table scarf with some more of the cross stitch and then crocheted edging. It's got some damage down here, but that can be worked around. We know how to do that, right? These, I don't know what, I don't have a clue what these are, but it's 3 pieces of this beautiful fabric. And I'm pretty sure it's probably machine stitched because the edges are like exactly placed. It's still very gorgeous. Another piece of hand crochet. That one went like that, and I think that it went over the back of a chair as well. That one had a tag on it that said 1904. So I don't know if they know that for sure, or they're guessing, or if they're just trying to trick me. I don't know. It was pretty enough that if it was trying to trick me, it worked. I love daisies. And so I immediately grabbed onto this. And I may just put that into a mixed media piece to put on my wall instead of doing anything in it journal-wise. Here's another chair scarf with a hand embroidery. Here's a hand crocheted little, what would I call that? Another table scarf, but for a small table scarf. It's got some staining, but otherwise it looks to be in really good shape. I have these 2 hankies. I tend, when I'm looking for things, to see if I can think of a way that I want to use it when I get done. And these water lilies are gorgeous. And so I have a whole new idea for another journal for that. This was just perfect for today since it's St. Patrick's Day. Little 4-leaf clovers embroidered, I think on all 4 corners, yes. So maybe by next year I'll figure out something to do with that. I think this is a scrap. It looks like a piece that's cut off from something. But the colors are beautiful. I really liked it. Almost through. This one I immediately thought that's going to be a journal cover. I do believe it's hand crocheted because I saw a couple of missed stitches when I was looking it over. And I love the pink. That pale pink is just beautiful. Another embroidered hanky. And I don't know what it is about the hankies, but I really, really like them. Here's one of the chair sets I was just talking about earlier. These 2 pieces go on the arms. And this would go on the back of the chair to protect the chair from the person's hair products that would be sitting in it to help to keep the chair clean. These are handmade. And they're beautiful. Beautiful butterflies on there. My fingernails keep clicking against the board, but I don't know what to do about it just yet. Here is another little scarf. I think it's a table scarf. Beautiful, tiny little embroidery on some very fine fabric. It's very fine. Nice crocheting around the edges as well. Another little table scarf. And for those of you who don't enjoy this sort of thing, I understand, because I didn't for a long time until I saw the different ways. That one has a string still tied onto it from the flea market. Until I saw the ways that people use them, I'm like, why in the world would you want that old stuff? Except for the fact I did kind of like vintage anyway, just because it reminded me of my grandparents. But I would have never bought something like this. It's torn up, it's stained. What would you do? I have a million ideas about what I can do with this one now. So if you don't like it, that's fine. That's fine. This will be for the people who do like it. And hopefully with what I'm explaining along the way, you can see some different ways to look at things. It's a set of 4 napkins, hand crocheted around the edges, and the flowers, you can tell, they are all completely different. Matter of fact, this one is a lot looser, more loosely sewn than the others. So it may have been the first one. Or it may have been the last one, they were just tired of it. I love this little doily with the flowers, and I have got, you can tell they just tied it off and left the thread hanging. So I will probably hide that thread and then tuck it in somewhere. This nice red doily. Yeah, I don't see red doilies that are old very often. So I grabbed it. I have a journal in progress, or a journal kit already in progress that I'm going to add this to. They are little tablecloths. But this has a perfume bottle and a lipstick and a ribbon and a mirror, hand mirror with another ribbon over here. And I will be incorporating that into my first journal kit that I am trying to make, a digital kit that would really have stuff in it instead of just digital papers like my other items are right now. This is gorgeous. I don't see brown very often either in embroidered items. We're almost through this stack. I don't know what this is. I do love the 4 roses that are cross-stitched on here, but I don't have a clue what this would be used for. If you know, tell me in the comments. I'm always up for learning. I think this is on Aida cloth, if I'm not mistaken about how you decide what kind of cloth that is. And this simple, it looks simple. This simple little design here has lots and lots of intricate little stitches with little French knots and the little daisy petal. Another doily. I thought that was so pretty with the pink. It's got a little damage right up there, but I'm good with that. Another little table scarf, again with some damage. This embroidery is gorgeous. I got this for $2. And normally there are about 10 yards of product on these reels. Oh, there's a sticker. 30 yards. I have 30 yards of this lace because it had never been opened. And it's not ugly. I could use 30 yards of lace, I'm sure. If I can't, I will share. So I grabbed that up. There were 2 other rolls too, but I was pretty sure I didn't need that much. I got this set of 7 handkerchiefs in this box. Some were made in Switzerland, 1 in Japan, or 2 in Japan. They still smell of starch. Let's see, I think that is a Japan. And I think they fold it like that so that you can see the main flowers over here. This one was also Japan. A little different colorway. It's brown instead of turquoise. This one is Switzerland. This one is Switzerland as well. Then these I don't think have tags on them. I think they were just in the box. I love that pussy willow right there with all the little butterflies. And that color blue is gorgeous. Look at this rose. Isn't that pretty? And a little rosebud on the back. And then a lavender wreath. This will go into my Lavender's Blue, Lavender's Green journal. That'll be coming up soon. And it came with this box, and this tissue paper is so old. It's probably original to the box, but I can't find a date on the box anywhere. And the last fabric thing I found, I left in the bag so that it wouldn't get messed up. Look at this gorgeous lace hanky with a brooch. It's attached to it, so maybe it's something you wear at your throat. It said hanky on the package. But isn't that gorgeous? So pretty. We're almost done. I'm going to show you the cabinet cards. I really like to get the cabinet cards because I think that the people in them are just so interesting and beautiful. And I think most of these I got this weekend are children. Nope, I got ladies, 3 ladies. Look at her. Isn't she fancy? She is so fancy. And I think that, yes, this is Gertrude. That is the same baby that is in this photo. No, I think it's this one. Yes, because there were 2 copies of this one. One was a copy, and one was this one, which I felt was more original. She's got the same eyes. And then this little girl, who looks a lot like one of my granddaughters. And then when you look at these, though, the backs sometimes are just as pretty. Not always, but sometimes. And then another thing that I tend to look for are postcards. And I left these in the packages. I'll take them out. Most of these I already have a plan for. Look at those forget-me-nots. And I love when they're written on the back. I love when there's a message already on there. This one is going to go in a journal my daughter requested for her wedding. I got a couple of them for her wedding this weekend. This one, they wanted to write a whole lot more than what a postcard would allow, but they squished it all on there. And this one will probably go in that lavender blue, lavender green journal as well. I have a daisy journal in the works. This one is also going to go in my daughter's wedding journal. Isn't that beautiful? It says partially undercover. It says, "How are you doing? Are you going to the fair?" That's it. This one is rather interesting because I can't imagine why you would put this on a postcard. It's a Mudlavia More Mud Bath. And it's from a health resort. And that's going to go in a journal that I'm making about apothecary. Sorry, I thought I had all these little bags open. It's another one of the purple with a whole novel written on it. This one I don't know if I'm going to put in my daughter's journal or if I'm going to keep it for myself. I like it a lot. And then this is the last postcard that I got. It actually has a little bit of glitter on it. And it's from 1913. And then the last thing I want to show you, this is a real find. I was so stinking excited when I saw this because it's just gorgeous. And it looks like, again, one of my granddaughters. I guess when you have as many as I do, you'll always find something that looks like them, right? Look at that. From 1900. Look at those blue eyes and that curly blonde hair. It's a calendar. It says, Wednesday, the day on which the Christian Herald is published, is of course always a red letter day. And each of the calendar days are in red on a Wednesday. for July and August of 1900. Gorgeous. I think it's gorgeous. Along with all of my purchases, I also got some interesting looking bags and tissue papers and things like that. But I just wanted to share with you the kind of things that I look for, the kind of things I like to do with the things that I look for, and just encourage you to look in the out-of-the-way places. Look for things that you're not so sure that you would be interested in. Just get out and be a noticer of life. Well, when you can get out safely, when you're supposed to get out, all of that good stuff. And I just want to remind you as well to be kind, always. Bye.